Hello, future Year 7s for this September. My name's Mr Hayter and I'm Head of English at Charter Academy. And as part of our transition project, all of your teachers from the English department are going to be recording a chapter of a book that we think is absolutely a book you ought to read. I'm not going to say it's my favourite book, there are too many. I could go through hundreds of books that are fantastic, but the one I really want to read, the opening chapter of today, is Erin Morgenstern's The Night Circus, and I think it's something that if you haven't already checked it out, definitely have a read. If it's something you have already read, then hopefully you'll enjoy my reading of it. So here is the opening to Erin Morgan's The Night Circus. The circus arrives without warning. No announcements precede it. No paper notices it on downtown posts and billboards. No mentions or advertisements in local newspapers. It's simply there, when yesterday it was not. The towering tents are striped in black and white. No golds or crimsons to be seen. No colour at all, save the neighbouring trees and the grass and surrounding fields. Black and white stripes on grey sky. Countless tents of varying shapes and sizes with elaborate wrought iron fence encasing them in a colourless world. Even what little ground is visible from outside is black or white, painted or powdered, or treated with some other circus trick. But it's not open for business. Not yet. Within hours, everyone in town has heard about it. By afternoon, the news has spread several towns over. Word of mouth is a more effective method of advertisement than typeset words and exclamation points on paper pamphlets or posters. It's impressive and unusual news. The sudden appearance of a mysterious circus. People marvel at the staggering height of the tallest tents. They stare at the clock that sits just under the gates that no one can properly describe, and the black sign in white letters that hangs upon the gates, the one that reads, opens at nightfall, closes at dawn. What kind of circus is only open at nights, people ask. No one has a proper answer. And yet as dusk approaches, there is a substantial crowd of spectators gathering outside the gates. You are amongst them, of course. Your curiosity got the better of you, as curiosity is wont to do. You stand in the fading light, the scarf around your neck pulled up against the chilly evening breeze, waiting to see for yourself exactly what kind of circus only opens once the sun sets. The ticket booth, clearly visible behind the gates, is closed and barred. The tents are still, save for when they ripple ever so slightly in the wind. The only movement within the circus is the clock that ticks by the passing minutes. Such a wonder of sculpture that it can barely even be called a clock. The circus looks abandoned and empty. But you think perhaps you can smell caramel wafting through the evening breeze, beneath the crisp scent of the autumn leaves, a subtle sweetness at the edges of the cold. The sun disappears completely beyond the horizon, and the remaining luminosity shifts from dusk to twilight. The people around you are growing restless from waiting, a sea of shuffling feet, murmuring and abandoning the endeavour in search of some place warmer to pass the evening. You yourself are debating departing when it happens. First, there is a popping sound. It is barely audible over the wind and conversation, a soft noise like a kettle about to boil for tea, and then comes the lights. All over the tents, small lights begin to flicker, as though the entirety of the circus is covered with particularly bright fireflies. The waiting crowd quiets as it watches this display of illumination. Someone near you gasps. A small child clasps his hand with glee at the sight. stretched across the top of the gates, hidden in curls of iron. More firefly-like lights flicker to life. They pop as they brighten, some accompanied by a shower of glowing white sparks and a bit of smoke. The people nearest to the gates take a few steps back. At first, it is only a random pattern of lights, but then as more of them ignite, it becomes clear that they are aligned in scripted letters. First a C is distinguishable, followed by more letters. A Q, oddly, and several E's. When the final light bulb pops a light and the smoke and sparks dissipate, it is finally legible. This elaborate incandescent sign, leaning to your left to gain a better view, you can see that it reads Le Cirque de Rêves. Some in the crowd smile knowingly, while others frown and look questioningly at their neighbours. A child near you tugs on her mother's sleeve, begging to know what it says. The Circus of Dreams, comes the reply. The girl smiles delightedly, and then the iron gates shudder and unlock, seemingly of their own volition. They swing outwards, inviting the crowd inside. Now the circus is open. Now you may enter. And that is the opening chapter to Erin Morgenstern's The Night Circus. Please take time to read it. It's in our school library when you arrive, if you can't find a copy before, and I look forward to seeing all of you in September. Thanks for listening. See you in September.